Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Windows Business Weekly. My name is Russell Smith and today I'm going to be showing you 4 tips on how you can work with Microsoft Teams more efficiently. So with many of us now working from home because of the worldwide health crisis, many people are using Microsoft Teams maybe for the first time or because they are using it more intensively because of the extra teamwork required for remote working. So I thought this week, and I think this is the first time I've done this on Windows Business Weekly, is I'd look at a Microsoft 365 or Office 365 feature, Microsoft Teams. Now, many of you know, of course, that this application has been Microsoft's fastest ever growing. It was only released 3 years ago, and it brings together many of the features in Office 365 like SharePoint and chat, and the ability to call and host online meetings to create a hub where you can communicate with your co-workers. So I have 4 tips for you today. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and let's get straight on with it. So here you can see in Microsoft Teams that I have a team called Windows Business Weekly, and there's just one channel there called General. There are a couple of posts in that channel, and if you look at the second post, you can see there's some important information there that I would like to save. Now, of course, you can find information in Teams by using the search function, so you can search in the box at the top of the screen that you can see there. But sometimes people would like to save information that they're pretty sure that they want to reference again, and they may be a little bit afraid that it won't be so easy to find using the search feature. So I can save that information so that I can find it quickly later. So all I have to do to save that post is to click on it with the mouse. And you see in the context menu there, I have several emojis that I can add to the message, but I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the 3 ellipses at the end of the context menu. I'm going to click Save Message. And you can see there in the top right hand corner that there's a notification saying that the message has been saved. Now that notification gives us an indication about where we're going to find our saved messages. So I'm going to click on my accounts at the top of the screen here, and you can see here that I've got saved in the menu, and this will show us all of the saved messages. So if I click on that, you can now see that that message that I just saved appears at the top of the saved items list, and you can see another couple of saved messages that I've saved before. Now this saved area of Teams, if you like, this will show you all of your saved messages from all of your teams, all of your channels, and all of your chats. If you want to delete a saved message, all you need to do is click the saved icon here on the top right of the saved message. So if I click it, you can see that saved message has now disappeared from the list. Now the next tip that I'd like to show you is how to make a document a tab or to pin it to the top of the list of files. So if I come over to the Files tab, that'll just take a few seconds to open. Now at the moment I only have one file in this list of files, but you can imagine that in a busy team, of course, you might have hundreds or even thousands of files in this list. And if you want to reference a file on a regular basis, you don't want to have to keep searching for it or going through that list in order to open it. So there are a couple of things that you can do to make it easier to find files. Now, the first thing that you could do is to hover over the file here to make it active. So here we've got figure 1. And if you click again the 3 ellipses to show more actions, you can see here that we have the option to pin this file to top. Now if I do that, you see that this file is now pinned to the top of the list. And no matter how many files I have there, how many hundreds, how many thousands, that file will always be pinned to the top so that I can find it quickly when I need to. And of course, that's great for documents that you need to work on a regular basis. Now, another thing that you can do is you can make a file a tab. So you can see along the top of the channel here, we have posts, we have files, we have wiki, and we can add various other tabs for different applications, of course. So if I click add there, you'll see various other tabs that we can add. But we can also add a document as a tab if we like. So I'm going to close that. Now I can't make an image file a tab, but I can make Office documents tabs. So I've uploaded a Word document to the list of files for this channel. And again, if I come over and click the 3 ellipses more options, you see that I have now the option to make this file a tab. So I'm going to click that, and you can see now that that document will open in Teams whenever I click on the Windows Business Weekly Meeting Minutes tab in the list of tabs there for this channel. So that's another handy way to make documents sticky, if you like, so that you can see them in the list of tabs. Now, one of the current limitations of Microsoft Teams is that you can only work with it in one window. Now, there are a couple of ways around that I would like to share with you. So for instance, if you're working on a document and viewing it within Teams, you always have the option to open the document using the desktop app. So here, for instance, I have Windows Business Weekly Meeting Minutes open in Word. If I wanted to, I could open that in the Word desktop app. Then, of course, I get that in a separate window. So that's one way around the problem. I would just click here, Open in Desktop App. You can see that icon in the list of options there. Now, the other way to work with Teams using multiple windows is that you can open up Teams in a browser. Now, of course, many of you will be using the Teams desktop application, which is Microsoft's recommended way of working with Teams. But there's no reason why you can't open Teams as well in a browser window. So, of course, if you have never used Teams in a browser, I'll show you where to find it. So let me open Microsoft Edge here, and I'm going to go to the Office portal, so portal.office.com. I should already be signed in with my user account here, and you can see Teams here. That'll just take a few seconds to open. And now you can see that we have Teams open in the Microsoft Edge browser, and I have it open also in an installed application that is also facilitated by Microsoft Edge. If you want to know how to install web applications using Microsoft Edge, I also have another video on how you can do that, which I'll post at the end of this week's episode. But you can see there, I can switch between the two windows, both with Teams and both with the Windows Business Weekly General channel. So you can use that as a way to work with multiple windows until Microsoft adds that feature to Teams. Now, in the final tip, I would like to show you how to synchronize files to your local device using OneDrive. Now, if I come over to the Files tab, you can see here that you have the option to upload files, and of course, if you select files, you can download files as well. Now, that is one way that you can get files, or folders in fact, in or out of Microsoft Teams. But if you need to do it on a regular basis, or you need to have access to those files offline, you can synchronize the files for a channel using OneDrive. So I'm going to click Sync, and there we get a pop-up warning us that Teams wants to open the OneDrive application. So I'm going to click Open, and you can see now OneDrive has opened and started to synchronize. So if I open up File Explorer, I'm clicking on the icon here, and if I come down to RSITC, which is my my Microsoft 365 organization, you can see now that I have a new folder called Windows Business Weekly General. And there you can see that the Windows Business Weekly meeting minutes document and figure 1 have been synchronized. Now I can add, of course, a document here. So let's add this document, weekly ideas, for instance. And you can see now that is in the process of synchronizing, and it has successfully synchronized 2 teams. So now if I come back to my Teams application and come back to the Files tab, you can see now that we also have that text file there, and I didn't need to manually upload it in the Teams application. So you can see that's very useful for having access to all of your files, maybe offline, or being able to just work with files so that you don't have to constantly upload and download them in the application itself. So there are my 4 favorite tips about how to work with Microsoft Teams more efficiently. So there we had a tip on how you can save posts so you can refer to information and find it more quickly. I also showed you how to pin a document to the list of files or to make an Office document a tab. Again, just so you can quickly reference commonly used files more quickly. I also showed you how to open multiple windows using Teams and the Microsoft Edge browser. And I also showed you how to synchronize files to your local device using OneDrive so that you don't have to manually upload and download files or folders using the Teams application itself. And those 4 things can really help you use Teams more productively. Now, they're of course fairly basic, high-level overview tips that I've given you there today, and that's just a start. I'll be looking more deeply into different Teams features and how you might work with them more effectively in some future episodes. If you like the information in this video, please subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes.